This is Texans TV. Texans Extra Points, presented by Community Coffee, official coffee of the Houston Texans. Also sponsored by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans. And by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Amegy, the official business bank of the Houston Texans.
Let's go, bro. What we got? Need some juice, need some energy, and just do your job. Punch the ball. Here comes pressure. He's going to go down. Touchdown, Houston. Rock and roll.
It's time, my friends, and we're so very happy that you're here with us on Texans Extra Points. My name is Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and this is going to be a fun show because Chester Pitt's original Texan offensive line, you're going to help us solve a little problem or two, aren't you?
Man, I don't know about not having this desk, though, man. I got to turn sideways so I can look skinny. Okay, all right.
He's handsome today. Also handsome as well from Sports Radio 610.
My guy.
Sean Pendergast.
Untucked hoodie.
You do the, just like Andrew Whitworth. Put him on Amazon Thursday Night Football and we're all set. Oh, tonight and today or this morning, whenever you're watching this, we're going to do a few things. Like get into maybe too early Offensive Rookie of the Year talk, or perhaps get into what's gotten into Jerry Hughes. Plus, what does dead meat have to do with the Washington Commanders? Almost said it, but I didn't. Washington Commanders. And then we're going to wrap things up with keys to a Texans victory. We're unlocking it all. But let's start with the offense, fellas. Nico Collins returned.
Super impressed that you didn't say it, because I thought it.
You
didn't say it. Commanders.
Commander. He says commandos, which I also like. I've heard Vandermeer say Commodores. There's lots of ways you can go with this. But let's start off with Nico Collins. And let's talk about the way he's playing. Is he clearly a number one wide receiver yet?
He has the body type. He has the skill set. He has the abilities. It's just about now consistently stringing the performances together. There's nothing more important than availability. And fast guys always find a way to, a hamstring or a groin, but finding a way to be reliable like Andre Johnson was, and always staying on the field. That's the last step that he has to take.
He's trending in the right direction, I'll say that. I agree. The first thing I thought of was what Chester said, availability. Health is a big thing. He missed a few games last year. He just came back from the groin injury. I don't know that his ceiling is what a number one now is in the NFL, where teams are willing to trade multiple first-round picks for a guy like a Devontae Adams or a Tyreek Hill. But I think he can be the best receiver on a good football team. I think he can be in that mix. So he's been a bright spot this year, no doubt about it.
And he brought up speed. Not too many people bring that up, but he's an astute guy. I mean, this guy's one of the fastest. Has one of the fastest times so far this season. He was on a play earlier in the year when he caught a pass, but he's tall and he can move. So he could be one of the best receivers or the best receiver, certainly on a team with a running back like Damien Pierce, right? Is Damien Pierce your Offensive Rookie of the Year just yet, halfway through?
He would be, because I love him greatly. But do I think he's going to win it? I guess it would be the question. And I think Kenneth Walker from Seattle is going to be playing in a lot of important games down the stretch. He's really come on the scene lately. I'm really curious to see how Damien holds up over these last 8 games. That would be my biggest concern. He is really out over his skis right now as far as the amount of workload that he's taken on. He never had more than 100 or so carries at Florida in a season. He's on pace for about 300 carries this season. That's my big concern with Damien.
And we're going to find out really quickly. We're going to find out very quickly. Just the toll, it all adds up. And in the NFL, at the running back position, it adds up very quickly. So just seeing how he holds up is going to answer that question.
So naturally it leads into what I'm going to ask you guys now. How important is a complementary running back with him? You've seen Dario Gumbawale, you've seen more of Rex Burkhead, and now the Texans add a guy this week in Eno Benjamin that they claim off waivers from Arizona. There's a small subset of Twitter that's very, very excited about this, but how important is a complimentary back with Damien?
Fresh legs. I'm just telling you that, they love to say it, but again, the running back position, the NFL is a young man's game.
Sure.
I think it makes a ton of sense to take some off of Damien's plate because of the pace that he's on right now. I just don't know that it's going to happen. Lovie Smith in his Wednesday press conference said that he was asked directly about Eno Benjamin, and he made a real point that he loves that bell cow.
Absolutely.
I don't get any sense from Lovie's answers that he's taking carries away from Damien Pierce anytime soon.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm a 225 on incline about 15 times for 4 different sets of that.
And nothing wrong with that, brother?
Yeah, let's Let's talk about the offensive line.
Throwing that thing around.
You're the perfect guy to ask about this. You played all along the offensive line. You were in the NFL for a decade. So, what have you liked, but what must improve? Double-edged question there.
The edges, I have been here. I shouldn't say tremendously surprised,
right?
Because I knew that they had the skill set to do it.
Both first-round picks.
But finding a way to week in and week out to be your strongest as opposed to, the weaker link. Inside is where you've had, some questions. You got a young guy starting, even 15th pick, I don't care. When you're a rookie, it's tough. You're out there, your head's swimming. But he's out there competing his tail off.
Yeah, what have you thought offensive line-wise?
I think the interior is where the soft spot's been in this offensive line, and Kenyon Green struggled. It's been a tough dance card for him the last few weeks with guys that he's been facing. Tough for Quesenberry as well. I'm with Chester. I've been pretty happy with how the tackles have played.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, let's get into the defense after a break. But first, let's check out what John Harris has this week, X's and O's-wise, on the Telestrator.
Took a little while for the offense to get going, but the run game gave it a kickstart here in the second quarter with a play that's awfully familiar. Now, if you rewind to the Eagles game, 36-yard run by Damien Pierce came off a very similar look. In fact, it's the same play. Might have been packaged a little differently, but what you got here is a trip set down to the bottom here. All right, so we're going to take a look here. You got 3 receivers over here, so you're going to demand coverage kind of rolling this way, all right? You're going to run counter the other way, so you're going to block everybody down here. Kenyon's going to come across and kick out. Laramie's going to turn up. And Damien, again, just like against Philadelphia, is going to have all kinds of room. So great down blocks. And look, you can see the hole developing right as Laramie is going through it. Makes a nice cut. And boy, he is off. Look at the speed. Great 44-yard run. Now, let's take a look from this angle. This is the good angle. So you're going to get you're going to get blocked down here, down, down. Teagan's going to block down, and then Kenyon, this block right here on Thibodeau. Thibodeau doesn't want any part of this, all right? Then Laramie's going to turn up. This is GT counter to a T. This is brilliant and beautiful right here. You get them coming upfield, so you pin these guys in here. Teagan on Jalen Smith, and then watch Thibodeau. He don't want any part of that. Whoa, look, see how he's trying to I got to get out of here. So he tries to box it. He can't. Kenyon takes care of him. Damien with the good cut right here. Watch this cut right there. See that cut behind Teagan? That's excellent vision. He knows at some point he's got to take one side or the other, and now he's off to the races, man. That was fun stuff with Damien Pierce. 44-yard run at GT counter.
Mills takes the snap. Handoff Pierce, right side across the 40, cutting back 45, 50, 45 for the Giants, the 40, the 30, there's traffic, 25, and brought down inside the 20-yard line. What a run by Pierce.
For years, we have seen the Texans run screen plays, whether it's tight end screen, slip screen, now screen, bubble screen, whatever type of screen. Texans just haven't been able to run them effectively. Against the Giants, they did, and this was a big one to Jordan Akins' tight end screen. So Jordan's right here in the slot. So you got trips that side with a nub tight end here. They're going to invite the rush, and Jordan does a great job here of just getting enough of Zimenez coming off the edge, just enough to slow him down. Davis is going to drop and then make sure that guy doesn't get to him. So Jordan's got to get just a little bit and then fall off and be ready. And Davis has got to throw it fast because here comes 97 Lawrence. All right, we should have done a better job of picking him up, but we don't. And because of that, Davis got to get a little bit quicker out of there than he wants to, especially turning his back. But because Jordan is ready to go, now he can catch that ball, and now you've got this, a safety dropping deep. You got this guy right here. He's kind of watching. I don't know what he's doing, but Laramie's the key. He's going to get a block on McFadden. Watch Akins cut off of him. He's going to go outside, and Laramie does a great job positioning himself right there, and then he's going to cut inside, make Belton miss, make Jalen miss, and now Jordan Akins is off. Now, here's where OJ could have helped, and he's trying to figure out, do I get this guy? I think 5 years ago, he might have made that block, but he's worried about getting a turn back block with penalty, so he decides, I'm not going to do that. Akins ends up making a play there. You can see it from this angle right here. George can come across in motion. He's going to get just enough of Zimenez right here, just enough, get just a little piece, turn around, and now let the fun begin. Great job, Laramie, getting in position. Great job by Jordan here, cutting back on Belton, making Smith miss, and then showing some of that speed. Excellent execution on a tight end screen by Jordan Akins.
Mills fakes the handoff. They set up the screen left side. Akins, 50, 45, 40, cutting inside 35, 30 to the 25 right sideline, the 20, the 15. Akins down to the 10-yard line. What a catch and run for the tight end. Blocked punt. Here we go. The Texans recover, and they're going to score. Alfred Blues takes it to the house. How about that? Special teams score.
We're back, and we're glad you're with us. Drew Dougherty, Chester Pitts, Sean Pendergast. Let's talk about the Texans defense. And hey, the bright spot, or one of the few bright spots, has been Jerry Hughes. 13 years in the league. He's got 8 sacks, Sean. He's making a difference. He got 4 tackles in the last game. 1 was a sack, 1 was a tackle for loss, another no gain, and 1 for a gain of 1. What's going on with Jerry Hughes? Why is he so much better?
I don't know. He found the fountain of youth. He's been around so long, I think he played the same time Chester was playing.
Yes, he was in the league my last year.
Yeah, they crossed over. So he's been great. Jerry Hughes had always been a guy who was able to get pressure on the quarterback. It's just he didn't, as frequently as some, get the quarterback on the ground. He's been making plays this year. He was great. The Eagles game, he whooped the left tackle in that game. He's been awesome. He's been a great leader for the team, too, I think.
Yeah, what he says there, Lovie Smith earlier this week said, hey, if we had everybody playing like Jerry Hughes, we'd be undefeated.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's nice.
Here's one thing I just want people to think about. Like, he has made it. Like, he has made the case now for every old guy to get a chance, to get a shot. And I love the point that you made about he consistently was a guy that got great pressure. He may not have been the guy that got the big numbers of sacks, but he's been a consistent pain and tackles behind his entire career. Yeah. And the thing is, his injuries he hasn't had, full cartilage type injuries. He's had ligament, muscle strains, that kind of stuff. You can keep on playing with those things. And frankly, he is out there playing like his hair is on fire, and you gotta love seeing that from the old guys.
You absolutely do, yeah. And you gotta see it keep going this weekend against Washington. Now listen, they could turn the ball over. They're -2 turnover differential on the year, meaning they turn it over 2 more times than they've taken it away from teams. So with that in mind, let's play the over-under game. That's over this number or under this number. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Sean Pendergast.
I'm familiar.
Yes.
I hear these states have sports wagering on some of them.
I'm like, even I don't bet. He definitely knows that. And I don't bet anything.
But 1.5 takeaways. Did the Texans go over or under that mark this week?
I'm going to go over. I think, Washington in general, and we'll talk more about this, they're coming in off that high of the win over the Eagles. A short week, road game. I think it's just one of those games that's set up for them to maybe a little lackadaisical. And Taylor Heineke's still Taylor Heineke. I know he's getting a lot of love this week. So I'm going to go over. I don't know if it's going to go much over, but I'm going to go over the 1.5.
I like it. That means you got 2.
My heart wants to go over, but in real life, I don't think they get 2. I think they'll get 1 because I believe Heineke will give up 1. But we'll see. The game got to get played.
We invited the Killjoy to the party.
I didn't know. But they said tell the truth.
You were always happy all the time.
I am. Look at this smile.
All right, well, let's keep talking about young players. A guy who got 2 takeaways in a game earlier this year was Jalen Petrie. What have you seen from him? He struggled with the tackle, and Lovie Smith has been upfront about it. Jalen Petrie's been upfront about it. But how do you just fix that? Is that something you just fix in season?
I want to give this quick take analogy. When it comes to, especially defensive players, having to make the adjustment of the speed of the game coming from college. So what they're used to seeing was, it's college, SEC, we're playing great people, but he's now seeing the best of the best guy that he saw every week, as opposed to once or twice a week, and adjusting for that last little bit of shimmy, that one more gear in top speed. Rookies aren't used to that. It takes a little bit of time to do that. So he's just going to have to make an adjustment and say to himself, just make the tackle. It's not about making the big play. Right. When he makes that adjustment, then he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the rookies go, Petrie's been great. Love seeing Christian Harris get on the field as much as he's been getting on the field. He played 100% of the snaps in the last game. I'd like to see Stingley used a little bit differently. It's not fun watching him give 15-yard cushions, but, Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's right. Okay, but we got Texans trivia for you. So Houston's riding a 3-game win streak over the Commanders. Now, all time, they've played them 5 times. Name the only player, the only Texan who's ever scored more than 1 touchdown. We'll have that later on in Texans Extra Points. From the Ford Studios, this is Texans Extra Points. Drew, Chester, Sean. Okay, you're dead meat in the NFL if you let another team run 40 times against you, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
40 carries. So the Texans, they gave up 47 on Sunday in New York. Monday night, the Commanders, I was thinking something else. They ran 49 times. Washington ran 49 times. How do you stop that from happening?
You better stop it.
Yeah, I think the first thing you do is get a lead, right? And you put the game on Taylor Heineke. You stop them on first down or second down and put them in position where they've got to pass. They had 49 carries, but only for 152 yards.
3.1.
They were just battering ram into Philly the whole night and running the clock and always moving forward and keeping it good down in distance. I think you got to win on first down is the big thing.
Yep. Oh my! Look,
what's your solution?
First of all, you tackle, and you tackle well. You don't let them get first downs, but ultimately you have to run the ball well. No team is going to sit up there and run the ball like that if they believe that there's no other way for them to win. That's the reason they did it, and they found a way to get it done. But Philly gave them the game. Bad turnovers, a really bad missed call on a face mask. It was not like Washington went out there and just whooped them, but you still got to find a way to not let that happen. And again, it starts with 5 guys up front blocking and making sure you're running the ball well.
Yeah, and nobody's saying the Commanders are world beaters, but they are the next in a parade of what the Texans have seen lately in tough interior defensive linemen.
Good guys,
You're the perfect guy to ask about this. You played left guard for a long time. What do they do about these guys up front?
Man, oh man. So my technique against the best in the league was you got to find a way to not only just have a balanced stance, but I love my good old headbutt technique. I know concussion thing is different now, but you headbutt every single play.
Edit this out,
Get your
please.
hands inside, and you sit down when you're pass proing. But again, running the ball well, keeping them off balance, not allowing them to tee off.
Yeah.
All of the schemes factor into these things big time. You want to take the best. You want to take Dwight Freeney out of a game, run the ball.
Yeah. Hey, he mentioned it earlier. He did the roller coaster movement when we brought up Taylor Heineke's name. What do you have to do to keep this guy in check? I mean, he's not like the rest of this team. He's not a world beater, but he can do some damage.
Yeah, no, he can. I think a lot of it's just situational. You got to put him in situations where it's obvious throwing situations. You got to keep him in the pocket. He's a guy who's got a little sizzle to his game. He's got a little moxie. I think you get on him early and kind of suck the life out of him.
Okay.
Can't let him get going.
Right.
That's the whole key with Heineke. You can't let him get going.
All right, it's time for our players to watch, our Texan to watch. We're going to start with you. Who are you keeping your eyes on?
Kenyon Green. It's been a rough go for him. Jeffrey Simmons, Fletcher Cox, Dexter Lawrence the last 3 games, and now he gets Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen to deal with. So does Scott Quesenberry. I'll say Kenyon Green with a little featuring Scott Quesenberry and A.J. Cann next to it. The interior of the Texans' offensive line has to have one of their best games of the season.
Big test for them. How about you?
Davis Mills.
Okay.
I need Davis to put it all together. He has shown flashes of greatness. He has had some pretty rough moments. I want to see him flatten out the yo-yo and just go out there and play within himself, take what the defense gives him, just go out there and have an efficient, solid game, because that's what he's capable of doing. And that's what the Texans need, and they'll get some more wins.
2 excellent choices. I'm going to go with Christian Harris. We've seen him take steps. I mean, from the first game he played 3-4 weeks back to now, I think if he's doing what I think he can do, we're going to see some major plays, some major head turners, and he's going to help stymie a little bit of this run attack by Washington. All right, stick with us because we have to get into keys to a victory over the Commanders, and we'll be right back here on Texans Extra Points.
Texans Extra Points, presented by Community Coffee, official coffee of the Houston Texans. Also sponsored by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans. And by Mattress Firm, the official sleep partner of the Houston Texans.
Earlier, we asked you in Texans trivia, name the only Houston Texan to score 2 touchdowns against Washington in their career, because nobody else has scored more than 1. Who is it, guys?
The obvious answer is Andre Johnson, and I know that it's not going to be Andre Johnson.
It is not,
because of the look in your face.
He only had the iconic one. It's DeAndre Hopkins, scored in
D-Hop, okay.
2014 and 2018.
Gotcha.
Another little fun fact, fun tidbit. Texans have never run for a touchdown against Washington.
Ever?
They've scored on
That's gotta
defense, they've
change.
scored on special teams, and they've scored through the air. But
Tomorrow, get it done.
all right, Chester Pitts, Sean Pendergast. Let's get into keys to a victory. We're going to start again with you. Sure. What must the Texans do to unlock a win?
Start fast. They've had some really bad first halves over the last month or so, and they've not led much over the last couple of months. They've only run 27 plays with a lead since week 1 against Indianapolis, the Texans, on offense. So get a fast start, get the crowd into it a little bit maybe too. That's number one. Number two, and Chester mentioned, is tackle. You got to tackle. It's a Washington team that's going to try to pound you between the tackles with big physical running backs. They've got to tackle better.
Those are good ones. How about you?
I'm piggybacking right on top of him starting fast. You know how you start fast? That front seven, really that front four that Washington has, the offensive line has to step up, have their best game collectively that they had the entire season. Yeah. Get the run game going, protect Mills. That's how you start the game. The offensive line has their best outing. That's how you win on Sunday.
Okay, and I'll piggyback a little bit off of that, and I'll go with 140 yards. That's the number. I'm not saying Damien Pierce has to get that number, but I'm saying the Texans as a whole, they have to run for 140 yards and get the run game going. And then my second one is make them pass. It's sort of the same as what you guys were saying.
Absolutely.
But more bad things can happen for the other team when they pass because the Texans can get some opportune takeaways,
Absolutely.
can drop the quarterback,
Honey,
and
you throw you one.
shorten the game. Yeah.
You throw you one.
Yeah,
They will.
Exactly. So make them pass, please, and do these things. Sean, Chester, it's always great to be with you. I appreciate the time.
Awesome.
We'll do it again very, very soon, and we appreciate you coming along here as well. This has been Texans Extra Points, and we'll be back again next week, same time, same place. So long.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.